People look at stories through different lenses. I have my own personal take on some of these trending issues. Hi, I'm Mariah Ramharack, and welcome to In Case You Missed It.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of In Case You Missed It. Today I'm extremely elated to be joined by Reggae Girl Tiffany Cameron. Tiffany was a part of history-making Jamaica Reggae Girls team that defied the odds to reach this year's World Cup knockout stage. Tiffany, a hearty welcome to In Case You Missed It. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your show. I'm trying to get used to the jet lag.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Tiffany, a history-making World Cup performance, your third World Cup. How was that experience for you?
It was an amazing experience. I mean, I think going to my third World Cup, I had a lot more experience than the previous ones, and I was able to confidently get on the field and make a difference. And I think that's really important. As we see, time goes by, players develop and improve, and I think I'm really looking forward to seeing how the younger generation continue this path that we're on right now. So, yeah, it was a blessing to be a part of history once again, and sky's the limit for Team Jamaica.
Yes, and looking back, a World Cup campaign where you only conceded one goal. Unfortunately, it was against Colombia, and that resulted in the team's exit. But wow, solid defense.
Yeah, our defense were outstanding all tournament. I think we should be proud, not only the back line, but just collectively as a team. We worked together, and, if one player made a mistake, there was someone behind them to help out. So I think that was really important throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah, and those results against Brazil and France ensured that the rest of the world knew that the girls meant business. What was the mood in the camp like after those results? And most importantly, the fact that you all kept clean sheets. Like, what were the girls saying?
The vibes were great. I think especially after that, our first game against France, we all had this feeling we're going to get out of the group. If we can compete against France, they're one of the best in the world right now, and we're able to keep a clean sheet. We knew in our hearts and our souls that we were going to make it out of the group stages. And I'm really happy that everyone was on the same page and believed that we could do it.
Yeah. Tiffany, what was your most memorable moment at this year's World Cup?
Well, I would say our game against Brazil, just because that was a special game. Last World Cup, we played them and they beat us 3-0. And, we all knew that this was going to be Marta's last World Cup. So it was actually really cool to play against her. She has been my idol growing up. And, I really respect her. And it was cool because times forgot that I was playing against my idol. I was going in for slide tackles and doing whatever I had to do to be my best self on the field. And that was the most memorable experience. I got subbed on at halftime and I knew what my role was and that I had to come and make a difference. And that's what I did when I got on the field. So I think that was a really special moment. And of course, we made history and, we advanced to the round of 16. So I think that was my most memorable moment during the World Cup.
Yeah, and you made the entire Caribbean proud. Now, Coach Loan Donaldson has outlined that preparing for the future starts now. What's your take on that statement, and how has it been working with Coach Donaldson?
I really respect Coach Donaldson. He knows what he's doing, very intelligent coach, and, he takes the time to get to know each player and what they're good at, and, he'll give little bits of information here and there throughout trainings before and after, and it's really helpful. And sky's the limit for Jamaican football. As we see, there's a lot of upcoming young talent. You got Soleil, you have Peyton, and also Cameron. They're great players. And of course, even Jody Brown, she's a solid young player, and she went to one World Cup in 2019, and I can't wait to see what she's going to look like in 4 years, because she's an amazing player already, and all those players that I mentioned are very talented. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds for them. And I think that now that we've advanced so far in the tournament, there's going to be a lot of players that are going to want to play for Jamaica. So all of us have to stay on our A game and, be our best selves on and off the field.
Yes, and speaking about being your best selves, and this is no secret, there were a lot of headlines before and during the World Cup campaign about the struggles of the team before getting to the World Cup. Has that affected you as a player and by extension the team in any way?
What I admire about our team the most is it doesn't matter what off-field drama there might be. We know that we have the power to control what we can control. And we decided that we're going to stick together throughout it all and just focus on football. And I think we showed how powerful our group was at the World Cup. Even with the outside issues, we were still able to perform. So I think that's one of the things that I'm really proud of with this team, our unity and our ability to stay focused on the end goal and stay together no matter what. So I think that those off the field things didn't affect us in the way that maybe a lot of people would have thought. It's just because we have strong women and we also have a strong coaching staff who has always been behind us.
That's refreshing to hear. So based on where the Reggae Girls are at now, what are some of the tools that are essential to ensure the ladies are ready to walk away with a World Cup trophy in the next 4 years?
So I think it's really important that every international window we have games. I think that will build the cohesiveness on and off the field. And, that wasn't the thing the past couple of years. We didn't have international windows where we had camps and stuff every single window. So I think moving forward, if we could focus on that, that would be great for our team and we would improve even more.
Tiffany, any idea when is your next match in Jamaican colors?
Hey, well, I'm hoping next month we have Olympic qualifiers, and that will be against Canada. So that will be an extra special game for me because, of course, you all know I used to play for Canada on the youth and senior level. So I know quite a few girls on that team. I've played with quite a few girls on that team. So that would be extra special for me to be a part of that squad.
Yeah, I want to hear about that Canada story, but we'll save that for a little later. You've been doing this for 10 years now on the international scene. What keeps you so focused?
I look back, I was bored quit actually, because I had to wake up really early in the morning every weekend to go and train. And I just wanted to be a regular kid. And I remember speaking to my mom about this back then. And she said, Tiff, you have so much talent. One day you can get a full-time scholarship in the States and that will help you. That will help me in terms of financially. She's like, you've come so far. Why would you stop now? And I know one day you want to play for your national team. Keep going. And I always look back and remember those moments because it's easy to quit when you're not going your way or when you want to be a regular person. And I realized that God put me on this earth not to be regular. It's to stand out. And, I'm so happy that I stuck with that. So I remember that that's a part of my motivation always moving forward, remembering those moments and also being able to inspire the younger generation because I know there's a lot of kids growing up that might not have the resources that they need or who might need a little extra push. So I want to inspire them and show them that they can make it one day just like I have. So, I think that's super important thinking about that every time I step on the field and just knowing that I'm more than just a player. God put me on this earth to inspire the younger generation in different ways. And also even with my skin condition that I have vitiligo, it's something that came up in 2017 and I had to learn to fall in love with my new skin. And I think it's so important that people go through changes in life and it's about accepting who you are as a person. And I feel like I use my platform for that as a football player and showing people that, it doesn't matter about your outer appearance. It's what's inside that counts the most. So
yeah, I tend to believe that as well. So, you spoke about the mental aspect and you have that locked, Tiffany. How have you been able to stay physically fit?
Hey, I think I've been blessed to be one of those people who can run up and down the field, I really take pride in what I eat as well, too. I have quite a few allergies, but it's a blessing in disguise because I stay away from the junk food. Maybe I'll have a cheat day once a week, which is normal, you know. But I'm very careful as to what I put into my body. I treat my body like a temple, and that's my kind of secret to success. You know, so it doesn't matter how old I am. I mean, I'm not old. I'm 31. You know, but I'm able to just treat my body well and, you know, perform on the field. And that's kind of just been my thing.
Yeah.
Treat my body like a temple.
Right. And we spoke about the mental and the physical aspect, but injuries, any athlete's biggest nightmare. How are you able to manage injuries, and bounce back when they occur? Because I think that's a skill.
Yeah, so there was a time in my career where I was just getting injured, like one injury after the other. It was tough for me. I would say, I think between 2017 to 2018, that whole year, those 2 years, I had like many injuries. And I realized what I needed to do was change what I was doing in the weight room. And there were certain muscles that I was neglecting and I had no idea. And I have to thank Jason and Will, who are part of the national team program. They helped me strengthen certain muscles and build up to the 2019 World Cup. And I knew from that moment that I have to continue that path in order to stay fit. So anytime I feel that my muscles are maybe being overworked, I know what to do and I don't myself to where I'll get injured. And that's happened before in the past. So I'm very careful now as to what I'm doing and monitoring my load management as well too. And that has worked for me, you know, and I know every athlete goes through their injuries and we just have to, the biggest thing is knowing that we're not alone and to have the right support system around us, friends, family, even our trainers to help us bounce back. So I've been fortunate enough to have a good team around me to support me.
Very, very important. And you mentioned earlier that you played for Canada initially. I'm sure, you know, my viewers and listeners would love to know the scoop. What's the backstory for eventually choosing Jamaica?
Okay, so Coach Busby, back in the day, he reached out to me in 2014. And at the time, I was actually playing in Germany. And he was like, Tiff, are you interested in playing for Jamaica one day? And I said, that actually sounds pretty interesting. And he was telling me all the plans that they had for the future in terms of funding and what they're working on. And I said, okay, well, right now, I can't make the decision right now because I'm still young and I still want to see how things go with Canada. But I will keep that in mind and maybe we can circle back. I have this conversation again when things are up and running again with the Reggae Girls and things are a little bit more organized and set in place. And he reached back out to me in 2018 when they qualified for the World Cup for the first time in history. I remember I was in Sweden at the time and I was watching the game. It was early in the morning. One of my best friends, Nicole McClure, she was playing. You know, she had a magnificent shootout. You know, she saved, I think, 2 penalties. And I was so hyped. Mm-hmm. And I remember getting an email from Coach Busby, literally about maybe an hour after they qualified. And he's like, Tiff, I know you've probably heard we've qualified for the World Cup for the first time in history. Are you interested in competing for a spot next year? And I said, absolutely. Now's the time. And I knew that with my experience, I could come to Jamaica and be an asset. And that's so important because I know I'm one of the older players. And, you know, I think at the time our team was really young. So I knew that this was the time. Why not be a part of history and help out the team as well, too? So, yeah, I decided to compete for a spot and I made the team. And, you know, the rest is history. And I'm so thankful that everything has worked out up until this point. So I'm grateful for that.
Right, and you mentioned being an asset. I find this so interesting. Before the Nations tournament, you played as an attacker. Then, due to not getting as much minutes as you would like to, you made the switch and adopted the right fullback position as your comfort zone. So, how? Why?
It's interesting because a couple years ago, Busby was coaching. He did tell me, he's like, Tiff, I could also see you as a fullback for this team. He said, I know that your best position is as the winger, but it's always good to be versatile. And sometimes he would randomly put me in trainings and train me as a fullback way back, like years ago. And then we circled back to that conversation and, you know, Coach Lauren Donaldson, he took over and I started kind of playing with that idea of maybe fullback is the best position for me right now. And him and I spoke about it and the coaching staff, and we had a couple of scrimmages and stuff, and I did well there. And they're like, you know what? Yeah, I think we could see this. So I think my biggest test was when we went to the First Nations tournament, and they started me against Australia. That was a big thing. I told myself, I said, look, I can't mess this up. I'm playing against one of the best countries in the world, and I'm being put into a position that I'm not used to, but I'm going to embrace that. And that was one of my best performances that I've ever had for Jamaica. So I was really proud of that, and that kind of opened up the doorway of me potentially being in that position moving forward. But Coach knows that he could also put me as a winger. I'm ready for whatever he asks of me, and I think that's important to be a versatile player, because if I wasn't open to being a fullback, I don't know if I would be at the World Cup. I would have loved to be, but it opened up possibilities for me, so I'm thankful for that.
Right, and what's for sure is your dedication and commitment has definitely not gone unnoticed. You're reaping the rewards, and you'll be suiting up for Real Betis when Liga F gets underway. How elated are you for this experience?
Oh, I'm so excited. Spain has been one of the countries that I've always wanted to play for. So I didn't care who was in Spain. I said, one day I want to go there and play. And they actually were looking at me since January. They were monitoring me, and they said they were really interested in me. And what I love about that is that they kept watching. And it's not like one of those things where I went to the World Cup and then a whole bunch of clubs are interested in me all of a sudden. I like that Real Betis, they were loyal from the get-go. I'm sure if my agent were to reach out to different clubs during the World Cup or after, I would have gotten several opportunities. But what I like is that I committed before the World Cup to a club that supported me and what I was doing. Yes, I know I was playing in Hungary. It's not the best league in the world, but it was important that they saw what I had and what I was able to. They made it to the finals, and this is a great time for women's football in Spain. So I think that there's going to be a lot of eyes on me and also on our team supporting us. And Real Betis, they're a very professional club. They've handled things with me very professional. I can't ask for more. So I'm really excited to join them next week.
I know it's so early, and I'm going to ask this question, but I just want to have the answer first. Any goal that you set for yourself for this Liga F season? Maybe the amount of goals you want to get, anything?
Well, I still actually have to think deeply about that. I'm not the one that will just randomly put it out there. I have to really think about it, set a plan, my short-term goals, my long-term goals. And that's something that I was going to be doing before I left. I still need a little bit of time to think about that. But what I do know for sure is the game I play, I want to be able to create goal-scoring opportunities for myself and also for my teammates. So I don't care if I'm playing against the best team in the league. I still want to have that ability to stand out. So that's one thing that's I know for sure that I want to be able to do. I'll have to get back. We'll have to circle back maybe another time, and you can ask me that again when I've thought everything through and I've written it down, so I can have the confidence to put it out there to the world.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Any advice for anyone looking to play football professionally?
I think it's really important to take care of your mind. There's a lot of athletes and people in general that deal with mental health issues, and I think it's so important to treat your body like a temple and do things during the day that make you happy. At least for me, I dedicate at least 1 hour a day doing things that bring me joy. Whether that's writing music, whether that's taking a bubble bath, whether that's hanging out with my friends or watching my favorite show. I take time for myself, and that's why I have the energy that I do. And, I feel free. So I would say the mental health aspect is really important. And also knowing that you're not alone, to just reach out to people if you need help. That's so important, because, you could be the most talented player in the world, but if you don't take care of your mind and your body, then you won't be able to get the places that you probably could if you didn't take care of those things, So I think that would be my best advice, is to take care of yourself, and, the rest will follow.
And what I realize is your talent is not limited to the football field. Talk to me about that single, Diary of a Black Woman.
Diary of a Black Woman, I think that's my best single that I've ever put out. And
Diary of a black woman with some dreams. This mic in my hand gives me power to feel seen. Cause it's hard living in a world as a minority. But I embrace it though.
It's one of those things, playing overseas, being a minority, it's tough sometimes. I go through a lot of different things. Like, people are racist sometimes towards me. I deal with microaggressions. I know I look different. It's just, there's so many things that I have to face, but I've never let that I've never let that interfere with my success, and what I want and achieving my goals. And I think it's so important that I was able to voice that in my songs, and I even talk about my skin. It's the first time that I've actually put my skin condition out to the world. Like, I said, God's Mona Lisa, call it walking art. So I look at myself as artwork. God decided to paint me the way that he wanted to paint me, and this is what it is. And I'm embracing my new skin, and I'm loving who I am. And I think I also want to encourage other people to accept who they are as a person, because and when we get old, our looks change. It's just what's on the inside that counts, that substance on the inside. If you have a good heart and a good soul, you could achieve anything in this lifetime. So I'm really happy that I put out a track like that. I'm hoping that I've inspired many people to walk in their true selves and be okay being different as well too. So it's one of those really powerful tracks that I'd love to continue to be spinning out on the radio and getting more out there.
Yeah, lovely. Very, very beautiful. Do we expect any singles soon?
We'll probably, maybe next year, I'll probably put out a project. I'm looking to do some collaborations. I'd love to collaborate with a Jamaican artist. So I'm working on that. We'll see if that can get done. I don't usually have a lot of time when I'm away. So usually when I drop a track, it's when I come back to Canada. I have a studio here. So yeah, just stay tuned. I think probably next year you guys will hear something else.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward. Well, Tiffany, it's now time for the most exciting part of today's interview. It's rapid fire time. So okay. I will ask a question. You say the first word or phrase that comes to mind, and I'm so excited. It's my favorite part. So are you ready?
Okay, great.
All right, so we're starting. Favorite Jamaican dish?
Rice and peas and oxtail.
Favorite Bob Marley song?
Three Little Birds.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Team you wish you played at this year's World Cup?
Oh, man. Australia.
Okay. Favorite goal that you scored?
I would have to say against Ferencváros, my former club. It was when I played in Hungary. I played for Eto. I had an amazing goal from like 35 yards out, I think it was. So
good one. TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Oh, I love TikTok. One thing you cannot live without?
Tea. I love tea. I'm such a tea head.
Okay. All right. Coffee for me. Which one of your teammates has the best fashion sense?
Matthews, hands down.
All right. A photo shoot with Winnie Harlow or Missy Elliott?
Winnie Harlow. I love both though.
I know, I realized, but I had to put you on the spot. Cars or bikes?
Cars.
Okay. Well, that was fun. So Tiffany, before you go, let's head across to social media to see how the public reacted to the Reggae Girls' performances at this year's FIFA Women's World Cup. So reaction number 1, let's see. We had Kadeen saying, historic, well done Reggae Girls, we love Uno. Do we have another one? Yeah. Oral, he said, Tiffany Cameron, come on and play ball, now lie. Wow. Joe Dizzle, Tiff, she said, Reggae Girls, same way, you know, history makers, let us build on this 10 years from now, a trouble, you know. And Obika, well done, Reggae Girls, you have made us all proud. So Tiffany, as you could tell, my patois is not so great. I tried. What do you make of those reactions?
Hey, I think everyone's really excited to see what we'll do in the future, because the future is bright, and obviously we shock the world with our performances, and we have a whole of Jamaica behind us, and that's amazing, and that gives us fire, and I'm really looking forward to the future.
Yeah, Tiffany, you're a light, and it has been a pleasure chatting with you on In Case You Missed It. I want to thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you in action in Liga F.
Thank you for your time. Have a blessed day.
You too. Well, folks, that's a wrap for this week's In Case You Missed It. Be sure to like, share, and comment. Let me know how much you enjoyed looking at the Jamaica Reggae Girls at this year's FIFA Women's World Cup. Goodbye for now.